I was blessed enough to like be exposed to so much music from all around, and I was able to hear all sorts of shit, and yeah, I never really felt like I had to do a certain thing, I still don't feel that way. I would go and say like the theme songs of my Nintendo games, because I didn't really have too many friends when I was a kid, and I didn't have any siblings until later on when I didn't really need anybody to play with, me and the Nintendo, man. So I was like, I played video games a lot, and those things would go do 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 for like hours and hours. So my mom, she would always say stuff like, "That's where I got it from, is all that time spent playing those video games." Can't you just turn the music off at least, so I don't have to hear that shit going over and over and over and over, But I think I really just fell in love with the music stuff, like when I started hearing like melodic hip hop stuff that Dr. Dre was doing in the early 90s. That's when I really got switched on to the idea of making music for real. Like, oh wait, this sounds like something that I could do, because there's a lot of music in my family, from all around. It's just like, it didn't really feel like me, doing the jazz stuff, like straight jazz and shit. It was like, I wasn't really into the saxophone as much and stuff. It wasn't about the learning curve. It was more so about the learning itself. Like I didn't have a teacher who I respected in that way. It was like I went to school and I studied, but it wasn't like we weren't playing no shit that I wanted to play. It was like, a bunch of fucking corny ass tunes, and it wasn't encouraging me at all. I was in that class hearing drum and bass for the first time. There was a kid who played the tuba. He played the tuba, and he played drum and bass for me the first time I ever heard it. And it was like I was switched on from that experience. And it's funny you say that, because I really think that mentorship was missing in my life. I had it with my cousin. He would show me a lot of stuff, but like as far as like hip hop, I didn't have like a hip hop mentor who was like, no, this is how you sample a record. You know what I'm saying? Like it was none of that. I had to learn everything on my own, and I'd really like to do some kind of program where I, get kids switched on, really young kids switched on to what's happening, because they're so capable, like sponges. They just soak up all this information. I always wonder, what it's like, because I didn't grow up with YouTube, it wasn't part of my childhood, so now the kids can just go on YouTube and learn how to make beats and stuff, and it's like, it's so different now, and I mean, it's good. A lot of it, realistically, comes from life experience. I don't think, no matter how technically switched on I was, I don't think I'd be able to make the record I made recently when I was a kid, just because like I needed to have more life experience to say the things or understand the things I wanted to say. I think the same with all art. I feel like a lot of artists don't have experience or enough experiences to be trying to tell the stories. It's like it's cool. You can be a technician all day, but if I can't feel it, man. The tools are there, and honestly, having some kind of structure is always good, no matter what. Having some kind of structured foundation is always good. But you can't learn how to be an artist in art school. They can only teach you how to be a better artist. Hopefully, they can teach you how to be a fucking commercial artist. I don't know, man. It's like, I think with all that shit, you need to know how to take in the good and the bad and like process it. Process it, and don't get stuck on what your teachers or professors say, or your peers, or even musicians you look up to. There's a musician, I'm not gonna name him, but he was at the Red Bull thing. He was giving a lecture. He was talking about how you're not supposed to dance to your own music. That's for the crowd to decide. You don't dance to it while they're making it. Who are you? This is bullshit. This is absolute bullshit. And this is why this cat ain't making no hot shit right now anyway. You know what I mean? He's missing his connection to the source. I remember when I was in film school, man, there was an assignment. The first day we got there was a shooting assignment. We had to go out and shoot some shit. And you know, after the first assignment, you could tell who had the chops. It didn't matter how long we were in the program. It was like those people who shine on the first thing were consistent throughout. You know, and it was like they had it. They had the vision. You know, they could see stuff. As we're approaching this new era, there's a lot of things are gonna change. And though it is a lot easier to make the music, I think the music's gonna get so crazy and so musical too that like you'll know when you hear it.
Yeah.
You know, it's not gonna be no games. It's like you know who's got the chops and who's in it to be cool, who's in it because they just having fun, whatever, who's in it for spiritual reasons. It should be out there on the table pretty soon. Because I mean, you know, look at the times, man. You know, where you can put out a record on a small label and that will get just as much recognition amongst the musical community, and you know, a bigger record, a huge record. All right, now you gotta film him, and then you turn the camera off. You got the incriminating evidence.
Damn, you got me there.